Ooh, Red's going on an adventure. Gah, Thea, what the hell are you doing? Red jumped. Voy met Red at the front desk of Scrawled in Ink to sign paperwork. They hadn't gone to Red's office since they planned on leaving as soon as possible. However, just as Voy finished scribbling a snowflake graphic next to his signature, Telepathia popped up from behind the desk, tugging her pigtails, shocking Red, Voy, the secretary, and anyone else in the vicinity. She turned suddenly towards Voy with a pouty face. Hey, I'm not weird. Voy's shock multiplied and looked to Red with his mouth agape. Red sighed and put his hand up as if it would diffuse the situation. Voy, it's fine. She does this. I work with her. This is Telepathia. Is her name? It's very indicative of what she can do. Thea draped herself over the desk before twisting herself to look at the upside down. A disapproving noise escaped the secretary's mouth. The secretary's mouth? A disapproving noise escaped the secretary's mouth. Miss Ike, please get off my desk. The secretary may as well have spoken to a brick wall because Thea just continued tugging her pigtails and eyeing Red and Voy. Can I come? Nope, absolutely not. Aw, why not? Thea kicked her legs. Every adventure needs a chaotic neutral telepath. The secretary looked at Red with pleading eyes, baffled as to what she should do. Red reached across the desk and seized one of Thea's legs. He flipped her over the desk and onto the floor like he was pulling a lever. Thea squeaked a yelp as she fell in a pile on the floor before scrambling to her feet. Such a bully, Red. She stuck her tongue out and brushed off her front. HR wouldn't like that little maneuver. HR wouldn't like you reading everyone's minds. Red folded his arms. Thea cast a look at Voy. Stop calling me weird. I didn't say anything. Voy put both hands up in defense. Don't give her attention, Red said. Thea. He grabbed her bare shoulders and waited until she actually looked at him. Thank you for seeing me off, but we've got a long trip ahead of us. I know, she said. I figured you did. So we're going now. Don't follow us or anything like that. Red jerked his head to Voy and they both turned to leave. Voy had a book bag strapped to his back, stuffed to the brim with clothes and supplies. A suitcase on wheels followed behind Red, rattling over the tiled floor of Scrawled in Ink. They pushed through the revolving door to the sidewalk outside. The roads were packed with cars, pedestrians crowded the walkways, and billboards overhead sold everything from fast food to funeral homes. Before they could even leave the front entrance of Scrawled in Ink to catch a taxi, they heard the revolving door again. Red muttered for Voy to just keep walking. I don't think you're gonna get too far, Thea called. Red sighed and massaged the bridge of his nose. Have you told him about the plane tickets? Concerned crossed Voy face. I thought you said you handled it. I said I was handling it, Red said, trying to pull Voy along. He nearly ran into a woman in a business suit talking into her phone. They have heavy travel restrictions, but their borders aren't closed. Privately owned aircrafts and boats are allowed to come and go as they please. Do we have a private jet? No. Do we have a boat? No. How are you handling this again? Oh, but if only there was someone who could read the minds of anyone in the world and find someone with a boat real quick. Thea skipped over to Red and Voy, folding her hands behind her back and leaning forward with a grin. She lowered her voice to a whisper barely audible over the blaring car horns of the city. That's code for I know someone with a boat. Voy looked at Red, who did not return the glance. There were a million reasons against bringing Thea on this venture. For starters, she could be pretty annoying. Hey! Then again, there was the fact that he could accidentally let her guard down and think about something she didn't need to know about and end up having her blab to the entire world. Oh, Red, you're such a glass half emptier. Thea swayed her head and held up a finger. Thing is, you don't have a plan to get to Thespia. I do. Besides, what if you guys get into a scrap? No offense, Red, but you're past your prime. And I'm not sure Stretch over here would be the best partner for a fight. Voy shuffled his feet. With an eye roll, Red considered his options. She was right about the transportation. He doubted they could just find any captain that would sail them across the entire ocean, regardless how lined Voy's pockets were. Thea kept grinning, bobbing her puffy pigtails. When you say you know someone with a boat, do you mean you know someone, or you know someone to steal from? She hushed with a finger over her lips. You can't know all a girl's secrets. Guess you'll just have to take me with you, she sing-songed. Even in the middle of a crowded sidewalk, she refused to use smaller gestures. Businessmen and women gave her dirty looks. She turned to one passerby with a particularly nasty look. You think about your mother with that mind? Thea snapped. That's also really sexist. Thea, ignore them. Just... Red sighed. What are you thinking, Voy? He's kind of mad at you for not locking down transportation after he already wrote you a check for this whole thing, and he think I'd be... Wow. And he think I'd be a valuable asset, Thea trilled. A valuable asset, huh? I guess I can forgive you for thinking I was weird a bit ago. Voy stammered as she pulled every word directly from his head. He can speak for himself, Thea. If you... He looked at Voy. Think she can help more than what she usually does, then... She aimed her Cheshire grin at Red. You can stay with us until we leave port. There's... Wow. There's not need for you to come all the way to Thespia with us. Oh, okay. Guess we'll just play it by ear, she winked. Nope, not... What? Oh my gosh, how many typos have I made in... Okay. Nope, not playing anything by ear. Nope, not playing anything by ear. You said you know someone with a boat, so you can get us that far, right? Yeah, Voy said. Thea squealed in delight, jumping up and clapping her hands. One of her pigtails whipped a pedestrian in the face. She did not apologize. This is going to be so much fun, Red. He was already regretting the decision. The three headed off down the sidewalk. Red was once again wrapped in his coarse green overcoat, and Voy had a new scarf, this one light blue with a snowflake pattern running down it. The pattern looked identical to the snowflake mark on his left hand. Behind them, Thea hummed some notes to a song neither of them knew. She wore mostly black clothes, her jeans torn at the knees and her shoes were mismatched. As with everything else, though, she did not care what other people thought of her. With an ability as strong as hers, she always had the upper hand and knew exactly how to leverage it. Red remembered the first time they met. No one told him about her power, so while he found her a little eccentric, they got along well enough. He figured her energy was just part of the younger generation's enthusiasm. Whenever they would talk, though, he started to notice she brought up details from stories he swore he never told her. Eventually, he asked another coworker about her and told him all about her telepathy. To be fair, he really should have assumed as much after hearing her name was Telepathia. He immediately felt a little disturbed. How many times had she probed his inner thoughts just for the fun of it? What else had she read? When he confronted her, she gave a girlish chuckle, shrugged her shoulders, and said, "Oops, guess you know my secret now too." Not that it was much of a secret, everyone knew, but there was really nothing they could do about it. Thanks to her power, she was one of the best third-person omniscient narrators that Scrawled in Ink had ever hired. She could probably get away with murder if she so desired. Oh, don't worry about that, Red. Thea skipped forward, scuffing a shoe on the city sidewalk. She hugged his arm. I'd never murder you. You're my favorite coworker. Red shrugged away from her. I will never figure out why, and even if I could read minds like you, I don't think I would want to know. I wouldn't mind being able to read minds, Voy admitted. It would have been useful in some situations. He's talking about dates. He's never gone on a second one, Thea whispered, but in the loudest whisper ever uttered. Voy drew a sharp breath. Could you please not do that? Thea winked. A few city blocks later, the skyscrapers stretching for the sky shrank down to more modest-sized stores as they got closer to the suburbs. None of them managed to Oh my gosh. None of them managed to flage down a taxi. Oh gosh. So they decided to just walk until they found a bus stop. Their destination was a port town up north. From there, whoever Thea knew with a boat could get them to Thespia. As the bus prattled along the road, Thea stretched out across 3's seat, and before long, started snoring loudly. Voy sat with his book bag in his lap, his hands folded around it. Red, he eventually spoke. I'd like to add a term of my own to this trip. The old narrator raised an eyebrow. You said we would be business partners and nothing more. But partners are transparent with each other. Wrong word. I don't know why you weren't telling me, even though he was. You were handling things when you pretty much didn't have a plan beyond leaving the city. But whenever we're getting ourselves into, we need to trust each other. Red let out a deep breath. Yeah, alright, he said. It's pointless now trying to hide anything with her around now anyway. He definitely regretted letting her tag along.